Part 38. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao Bai Sheng Wu. Chapter 390. When Susiener is addicted to games these days, Lin Jingshu is running around, Wang Zimen is working hard to develop the live broadcast platform, and Xiana Yueying is flustered. At this time, the Huaxia Academy of Fine Arts. As the vice president of the Chinese Art Association, Zhang Yu is often invited to give lectures at major art academies and even well-known high schools. Every time he was invited, Zhang Yu happily went to the appointment. As the vice president of the Chinese Art Association, he also has to shoulder the responsibilities of this position. There are very few art students in the world, and the same is true in China. This year, the number of art students in major colleges and universities has decreased again, which has made the Art Association also begin to worry. Although there was a beautiful girl named Miaobi who set off a revolution in painting style, based on the act circle, her painting style influenced the whole world. There are also more art students around the world. But the effect is too minimal, because whether a student can become an art student depends entirely on the parents. Parents see no way out of becoming an art student. If their children become art students, wouldn't this destroy their children's future? Moreover, it is very difficult to lay the foundation for becoming an art student, because the art circle does not have a set of teaching materials that can allow students to grow quickly, which is very embarrassing. Every industry has its own foundation. But this is not the case in the art world. Many art masters racked their brains in their later years, thinking about how to increase the number of art talents around the world and make themselves famous throughout the ages. Unfortunately, this situation is too difficult. Master Zhang, the lecture you just gave was really wonderful. At the Huaxia Academy of Art, Vice President Fu Qing'ai and Zhang Yu were admiring the little West Lake and walking along it. Zhang Yu smiled lightly and said, "Principal Fu, please think about what you just said." Hearing this, Principal Fu sighed slightly and said, "It's not that our school is not making progress, but that there have been too few art students applying for the exam in recent years. The school has also used many methods, but parents are just not willing to let their children become art students. There's nothing we can do." In addition to giving lectures, Zhang Yu also contacted the top management of the Academy of Fine Arts, hoping that these schools could think of ways to attract students from major high schools, such as holding competitions, reducing tuition and miscellaneous fees, etc. Unfortunately, these methods have been used by schools for a long time and have little effect. Hearing this, Zhang Yu also sighed, and he also gave routine supervision. We also know that major art colleges and universities are currently short of students, and competition for student resources among major art academies is very fierce. Thinking of this, Zhang Yu's eyes suddenly froze. He saw a person holding a small 8-fold drawing board in the pavilion of Xiaoxi Lake. From time to time, he raised his head and looked into the distance, then lowered his head and started to draw on the drawing board. "What is that person doing?" "Painting," Zhang Yu murmured in a low voice, with a curious look on his face. "Why is there still someone painting outdoors?" Principal Fu was also confused. He had never seen students or teachers drawing outside with an octavo drawing board. The two of them walked over with curiosity to see what was going on. When Zhang Yu came to Yangshen, he found that he was already immersed in the world of painting and couldn't extricate himself. Of course, this is related to the fact that he came here quietly, plus the other party is in front and he is behind. So it's normal not to feel it. However, when Zhang Yu stared at Yang Shen's drawing board, he couldn't help but take a breath. "This," Zhang Yu murmured, extremely softly. He was afraid of affecting the other party, but his eyes were shocked and his body was trembling. He saw that the middle-aged man in front of him was actually painting Xiaoxi Lake. The scene in the painting is exactly the same as the scene in front of Zhang Yu. When Fu Qing'ai saw this scene, he was also shocked. As the vice president of the Academy of Fine Arts, he is also an art master. Naturally, you can tell what the person in front of you is doing. After Yang Shen spent more than 10 minutes carefully sculpting the scenery in front of him, he looked up and was shocked. As a middle-aged man with a wife and daughter, he was very frightened when he was suddenly looked at with naked eyes by two elderly people. Seeing this, Zhang Yu looked so excited that he even stuttered, "Hello, hello, can you let me see the painting you drew?" This. Yang Shen frowned and groaned inwardly. You must know that the painting skills he just learned were sketches taught by teacher Miyobi, who is the head of the art department of Station B and a member of Miyobi Studio. Yang Shen took a few days off to visit his father-in-law in Yanjing because of his wife's father's health. In the past few days, my father-in-law's health has gradually improved, and he heard that the scenery of the Little West Lake at the Huaxia Academy of Art is amazing, so he came directly with a drawing board to sketch the scenery. I didn't expect that someone would see me just after I finished painting. He specifically chose the time for class and came when there were fewer people. But Yang Shen suddenly felt that the two old men in front of him looked familiar. Without waiting for him to think more, Zhang Yu saw Yang Shen hesitate, took a deep breath, took a step back, and then introduced himself. "Hello, I am Zhang Yu, the Vice President of the Huaxia Art Association, and the person next to me is the Vice President of the Huaxia Academy of Art. Principal Fu King II. I came over to take a look because I was curious, but I didn't expect. Zhang Yu repeated it for a long time, and he didn't even know what words to use to describe his current mood, but he was so excited. As an art master, he could see the painting skills of the other party just now without Yang Shen's explanation. It is a kind of painting foundation. As for this foundation, he knew its meaning and the impact it represented after reading it once. This kind of painting foundation can definitely popularize the world and improve the painting skills of art students. Not only Zhang Yu was excited, but Fu King II beside him couldn't help himself. Suppressing his excitement, Fu King II looked at Yang Shen and asked, "Are you a teacher at the school?" Yang Shen looked middle-aged, well-dressed, and very much like a teacher. However, Yang Shen shook his head with a wry smile. He knew that he had exposed the landscape sketches that teacher Miyobi had taught him, and he didn't know what to do for a moment. "Are you willing to join the art association?" After Zhang Yu calmed down, he looked at Yang Shen with fiery eyes. As a respected person, he would not pass on this painting foundation without the consent of the founder. But if the other party joined the art association, maybe he could ask the other party. Yang Shen was stunned, then he looked Zhang Yu up and down, and for a long time, shocked, Are you Master Zhang Yu? I am just a little richer in painting knowledge than others, I can't be called a master." Zhang Yu waved his hand. He didn't dare to call himself a master in front of someone who had created a painting foundation. As a smart man, Yang Shen knew that Zhang Yu valued the landscape sketch he had just shown, so he couldn't help but smile bitterly and said, "I know what you two think, but this sketch was not created by me. It was created by someone else, so please forgive me for authorizing you without the other party's consent." Sketch. Zhang Yu chewed on the name and felt that it was very appropriate. Just now, Yang Shen recorded the Little West Lake in the painting in just over 10 minutes. It was really fast. Thinking of him, he asked anxiously, "Who is that master?" Wonderful brush. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Sheng Wu. Chapter 391. When Susiena received the call, she was confused. "Who are you?" Me. "Teacher Miyobi, I'm Yang Shen." Yang Shen almost went crazy. After all, he was also an old man in Miyobi Studio. He participated in every comic book of Susiena, but Susiena didn't know him. I felt that my life value was denied. Oh. Susiena suddenly realized, "It turned out to be you, what's the matter?" Yang Shen was silent. He knew that teacher Miyobi must not recognize him. At this moment, As an old man in his 40s, he suddenly wanted to cry. "Teacher Miyobi, I'm from Miyobi Studio, the one who helps you manage the group." It turned out to be you. You should have said it earlier, making me confused, Susiener said with a bad face. It would have been fine if she had said that she was from Miyobi Studio earlier. It made her embarrassed that she didn't recognize him and didn't know what to say. "Tell me, what's the matter? Also, you can tag me in the group." "Blame me, blame me." Yang Shen felt helpless, but when he looked at the expectant eyes of the two masters next to him, he cleared the grievance in his heart and said seriously, "Miyobi teacher, I called you because of an urgent matter. Just now, when I was sketching the scenery at Huaxia Academy of Fine Arts." Soon, Yang Shen told the cause and result of the matter, and he was also uneasy. After all, when Susiener was their teacher, she taught them the basics, but did not say that they could teach others. After Chen Rui knew about this, he was also decisive and asked everyone to sign a confidentiality contract directly. This is also the reason why such simple sketches and human body sketches have not been circulated. Of course, Susiener didn't know about this. As a result, when Yang Shen told her, Susiener was surprised. "You didn't pass on this foundation." When she taught it, she naturally hoped that everyone would pass on these basics so that some students who like painting but can't get started can enter the circle. As a result, Chen Rui made a confidentiality contract, which is poisonous. Susiener was speechless when she learned about this. What was there to keep secret? No wonder there are more comics recently, but they are not surprising. Those people with stories in their heads can't draw, they naturally can't share their works on comic websites. "Miyobi teacher, don't you mind your sketches and character sketches being exposed?" When Yang Shen asked this question, Zhang Yu and Fu Qing'ai beside him felt nervous. "Of course, I have taught you all, so I naturally don't mind more people learning." Susiener was speechless. How could these people be so stupid? But when she thought of herself wearing the halo of mental retardation, she understood and sighed. "Tell that master that if he wants to learn, he can learn, and he can teach whoever he wants to teach." "Miyobi teacher, Master Zhang wants to talk to you." Before Susiener could speak, Zhang Yu's mature and deep voice came over. "Hello, Miyobi teacher, I have heard of your name for a long time, but I have not met you." Susiener said with a sour look on her face, "Speak human words, and if you say something nonsense, I will not release my sketches and figure sketches." She does not have the virtue of respecting the elderly and loving the young. Zhang Yu choked, then laughed dryly. "It's like this, Miyobi teacher, I am the vice president of the Art Association, and I want to invite you to join the Art Association. I wonder what you think." Before, many people in the Art Association were interested in recruiting Susiener, a young member, but when they learned that Susiener debuted with a book, many people were silent. After all, they are also artists. If someone who draws a book comes in, wouldn't the style of the Chinese Art Association be infinitely reduced? So the matter was left unresolved. And this time Zhang Yu knew that as long as he had sketches and figure sketches, Susiener would not be rejected when she joined the Art Association, but would be welcomed by other painters. After all, Susiener was able to lay the foundation for painting, which would benefit art students all over the world. "No, he knows sketches and figure sketches, just ask him." Susiener hung up the phone. Zhang Yu listened to the beeping sound with a confused face, and looked at Yang Shen, but saw that the other party was also helpless. When Susiener received Yang Shen's call again, he said angrily, "Administrator, you are a traitor, believe it or not, I will remove you from management." Yang Shen suddenly burst into tears in his heart. It turned out that teacher Miyobi still didn't know who he was, but only knew that he was an administrator. "Sorry, teacher Miyobi, please let me finish what I said, and then you can decide. If you really don't want to join, we won't force you." Zhang Yu's voice came, and at this time he was uneasy in his heart, not as sure as before. If Susiener didn't join the art association, then when they promoted sketching and figure drawing, the art association would become a promotion platform, and any other reputation would have nothing to do with them. He actually thought it was nothing, but the old stubborn people in the association would probably make a fuss. It's like this, Teacher Miobi. There are many benefits to joining the Huaxia Art Association. Whether it's social reputation or the resources of the association, they will be inclined to you, and you can have a say at the official level, and you can also participate in the exhibitions held in the circle. Zhang Yu talked about a lot of benefits, but Susiener curled her lips. Social reputation, she is now popular all over the country. Resources. She now shouts on Weibo, and major companies will throw olive branches. Official level. She has connections with the animation administration. Participate in an art exhibition held in the circle? Gen. As a dead house, you want her to go out? No way. As for a lot of other things, Susiener was not interested at all. Just when she was about to refuse, Zhang Yu's words stunned her. Of course, if Mr. Miobi holds an art exhibition, you can invite us to participate, and we can even host it for you to expand the influence of your art exhibition. Wait. Susiener suddenly had an idea and thought of something. What's wrong? Teacher Miobi, are you interested? Zhang Yu said in surprise. You just said that if I hold an art exhibition, you can be invited to come over to show off. Zhang Yu smiled bitterly, but still nodded, yeah, I can understand it that way. Is the website okay? What? I will create a website, and everyone from the art association will register an account with me, and then upload all your past works to the website to promote it for me. This. Zhang Yu said after careful consideration, it depends on what kind of website it is. If the impact of the website is not good, I am not the one who has the final say on the art association's part. When Susiener heard this, her eyes lit up and she felt like something was going on. Then she told Zhang Yu the model of Station P, and wanted to see if Station P could invite these art masters to Station P to take charge. Ovo. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 392. Susiener had always thought that it was very simple to create a website and then make it popular. After Lu Ruyan was hired as a secretary, she learned about Susiener's idea and analyzed it with Susiener. Then Susiener suddenly realized it. According to Lu Ruyan, a person is dependent on a website. The success of many websites now is entirely because they were established in the early days of the internet. When the number of Chinese netizens increased rapidly, these websites were the first to be contacted. For example, the previous blogs, the current Weibo, major portals, forums, and even the current dominant websites were all established in the early stages of the Chinese internet. Even Bilibili was established in 2012. Therefore, Susiener's idea that if you think of it, you can do it and it will become popular is not feasible. After all, users are already accustomed to other websites, such as Bilibili. When a person is a loyal fan of Bilibili and is accustomed to listening to music, watching ghosts, and watching animations on Bilibili, he will not go to other websites even if other websites also have barrages. More loyal viewers may even like a TV series, but the copyright of that TV series has been bought by other video websites, and Bilibili does not have it. Under user habits, this loyal fan of Bilibili may not watch that TV series. Because this fan is used to watching TV series on Bilibili and being surrounded by barrages. This is the terrible thing about habits, which cannot be transferred artificially. Susiener didn't understand this before, but when Lu Ruyan told her, she understood. After understanding it, she knew how difficult it was to establish P Station and make it successful. This is not a website that can be supported by its own fame and publicity. Even if Tencent Comics, Bilibili, and the Animation Administration Bureau help her, it is likely to fail. People's habits will not be forcibly transferred because they like someone, even if she serializes a passerby heroine on Bilibili. Unless she has every comic on Bilibili in the future, but this is impossible. If she does this, it is better to make Bilibili a comic website. But doing so will deviate from the model of Bilibili, and Susiener will not have any sense of accomplishment in establishing it. Susiener had been worrying about this matter before. Of course, as time passed, Susiener had forgotten about it. She was a free-spirited person. She had thought of creating a peace station before, so she did it as soon as she thought of it. Now that she had forgotten it, she could just forget it. Fortunately, Lu Ruyan had not forgotten it. She had been creating this website and renting servers. Now the framework of Peace Station had been built, and it was just waiting for users to move in. Susiener just happened to receive this call, and suddenly remembered that she had an idea for a website, so she quickly told Zhang Yu about this idea. According to Susiener's idea, all the people in the art association would move into Peace Station, and all their works would be posted on Peace Station in the future, and all their previous works would be uploaded to Peace Station. In this way, the masters of the art association with high social status would join Peace Station, and other people who studied painting, whether they were cartoonists, painters, or any other messy people related to painting, should all join Peace Station, right? With creators, it would be easier to solve the problem of users. People are curious. As long as P-Site can attract these users, it is only a matter of time to convert these free users into P-Site users. Want to see exquisite original paintings in the future? Go to Peace Station. Want to see exquisite R16 original paintings? Go to Peace Station. Want to pay attention to the works of modern art masters? Go to Peace Station. If Station P can become a website that these users have to visit, then Station P will be successful. When Zhang Yu heard this request, he didn't even think much and agreed directly. There is no need to consider this at all. One is about the major events in the modern and future art world, and the other is that these painters upload their works to the website. Zhang Yu knows which of these two things is more important. And the art association has another thing that needs Susiener's help. Then you agree to join the art association, Zhang Yu said nervously. If you can agree to my request, I will join, Susiener said lazily. Anyway, joining the art association doesn't require doing anything, it's just a title. Okay. After the two talked it out, Zhang Yu chatted with Susiener for a few more words, and when the other party became impatient, he hung up the phone. Afterwards, Zhang Yu and Fu Qing'ai thanked Yang Shen, handed their business cards to each other, and said that if there was anything in the future, they could ask them for help. After that, Zhang Yu said goodbye to Fu Qing'ai and posted a notice in the art association. On the third day, except for those who were too far away, most of the members of the art association arrived at the conference room. It was called a conference room, but it was not a commercial conference room, but rows of chairs, and in front was a huge multimedia screen. Many members of the art association were confused. Because Zhang Yu's notice was too urgent, they had no idea about the situation, and most of them rushed to Yanjing after receiving the notice. After everyone sat down, Zhang Yu looked around and saw that except for a few and the elderly, they were basically all there. Everyone must be wondering why I notified you to come. Zhang Yu cleared his throat, and when everyone looked at him, he suppressed his excitement and began to explain to everyone what happened at the Huaxia Academy of Fine Arts 2 days ago. What? Basics of painting? How is that possible? The people in the art association were stunned. However, when Zhang Yu used multimedia to show the sketches and human body sketches, everyone was shocked. Sketches, just 2 short words, contain a lot of meaning. The writing is concise and vivid, but it shows the structure, shape, etc., which can allow beginners to learn the structure of the human body very quickly. The figure sketch is more complicated, but for those experienced people like them, it is also a very simple drawing method, but no one has been able to create it before. And this method can be promoted nationwide. As long as it is promoted properly, the number of art students in the country will increase rapidly in the next few years. Thinking of this, many people are very excited. However, when Zhang Yu said that this was the basis of painting created by Susianur, many people froze, and most of them opened their mouths and wanted to say something. But when they saw the sketches and figure sketches on the screen, they swallowed the words in their mouths. In the past, they thought that Susianur made her debut by drawing books, and joining the art association would lower their style. But now, when Susianur created the foundation of painting, no one dared to say such things anymore. If Miobi joins the art association, then can that matter be handed over to her? Many people's eyes lit up when they heard this. Oo transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao Bai Shenwu. Chapter 393. The art association in this world is not just an art association. In addition to the painting masters, some of the people present here have another title, animation director. The Yanjing Art Film Studio is affiliated with the art association. It can be said that the cartoons broadcast on TV in the 1980s and 1990s were all produced by some of the people present. Of course, because of the style of painting, the previous cartoons were a bit unbearable to watch, and they were basically adapted from martial arts novels. And the ones shown to children are basically Q-version style, which can be regarded as the childhood memories of young people in this world. The Yanjing Art Film Studio is undoubtedly very powerful. Under the extremely distorted style of painting, it can still produce animations that make modern people remember, which is enough to be praised. But they are also miserable. Because the central government issued a document some time ago, it was about the education of the post-10s. Modern development is rapid, and the internet is popular all over the world. Some children aged 7 or 8 are extremely precocious, which is originally a very good thing. But the information on the internet is complicated, and it is not good for children to be exposed to it too early. Some 6 or 7-year-old primary school students have started dating and kissing, which makes them feel that their worldview is destroyed. Originally, the people of the Art Association thought that this document had nothing to do with them, but the people of the Education Bureau said that if the animations played on TV can attract these children, and spread the virtues of China in the form of animation, it will be 100 times better than exam-oriented education. The central government thinks it makes a lot of sense, and according to investigations, the style of painting in China has been changed to meet the aesthetic taste of normal people. So when a piece of paper came down, the people of the Art Association were worried. To be honest, there is nothing wrong with making animations, which is their old business. In addition, the style of painting has been restored now, and they are confident that they can make excellent animations. But they are confident, but they are not confident about today's children. 10 or 20 years ago, their animations were able to attract people, because there was no internet at that time, and the information was not so complicated. Everyone could only watch TV when they went home, and basically they watched whatever was on TV. At that time, cartoons were very rare and extremely attractive to children. Children were not interested in adults acting at all, and this kind of two-dimensional animation was what they were interested in. But nowadays, they don't think that the animations they make can attract these little brats. This is what they are worried about. As famous masters in the industry, they don't care about money and status in their lives, but they value fame. They naturally don't want to destroy their own signs. And before, someone claimed whether to ask Susianur to direct the animation, and many people were surprised. If we say who is the most famous in the industry recently, it belongs to the little girl named Miobi. She can draw very attractive comics when she is only a teenager. The Book of Life and Death is now popular all over the country, and the live-action movie has begun to be filmed, although it has mixed reviews online. After all, comic-adapted movies are considered to ruin comics by fans. But Susiener is famous, and many people are still looking forward to it. And Susiener said online that if she thinks the movie is a piece of cake after watching it, she will not let it be released. After all, most of this movie was invested by Susiener, but they also invested. Tencent Animation had been talking to most film and television companies for a long time before. When Susiener came to ask, she learned that it had not been sold yet. Of course, the main reason was that Tencent Animation asked for too high a price. So Susiener invested in anger and found a well-known director to shoot it. Now most Chinese directors are coveting the film directing rights of Book of Life and Death, so it is very easy to find a director to shoot. People in the Art Association naturally knew about this matter and knew about Miobi. After knowing about it, they knew that the other party debuted as a book painter, which made them want to find Susiener, and they faded. It's not that they looked down on Susiener, but the country originally wanted them to produce works that promote Chinese virtues and are very meaningful. If Susiener came to direct, parents would know that the animation director was actually a book painter. What would this make parents think? Although the probability is very small, if parents know about it, the impact will be great. But this time Susiener actually created a painting foundation that benefits art students around the world, which forced them to re-examine Susiener. As long as the promotion is done properly, Susiener's fame will definitely be greater than theirs in the next 10 or 20 years, and when Susiener enters middle age, she may be the president of the Art Association. Although the Art Association also values qualifications, it values ability more. Susiener's ability is obvious to all, and she is amazing and talented, and her future achievements are limitless. Of course, Susiener's achievements are already limitless now. So they have no objection to Susiener joining the Art Association. And if she can direct an animation, they have no objection. Seeing that everyone was silent, Zhang Yu couldn't help but smile and said, "It seems that everyone has agreed. However, directing an animation still needs to be discussed. You must all know Miobi. The other party is very lazy and needs an opportunity. I'll trouble President Zhang for this matter." That's right, only President Zhang can talk to Miobi, and we old men probably don't think Miobi will look down on us. This made Zhang Yu blow his beard and glare, "You guys look down on Miobi so much." After hearing this, everyone knew that Zhang Yu had misunderstood, and they all smiled bitterly and said, "We didn't let Miobi join the Art Association before, and that little guy might have slandered us, so we must hide for a while." That's right, when she makes animations, we can help at any time, just hope that Miobi doesn't hate us. Zhang Yu was speechless when he heard this. This group of old guys obviously knew that Susiener would achieve more than them in the future, and they also knew that Susiener's joining the Art Association was a foregone conclusion, and now they were thinking about how to remedy their relationship with Susiener. "Okay, let's go. I'll think about how to tell Miobi about this." Knowing Susiener, you know that this girl is very difficult to deal with. Her difficulty is not the kind of difficulty in terms of interests, but in terms of mood. Sometimes when she is interested, she will agree to your request. But sometimes she is in a bad mood, and if you say too much, she will directly block you. This personality is applied to men, that is, moodiness. But applied to a cute girl like Susiener, that is a cute point. Thinking about it, Zhang Yu sighed, he can no longer keep up with the thinking of young people. This is also the main reason why those animation directors don't want to direct cartoons. They don't understand what these young people are thinking. Not to mention children. Some people say that the recent chapters are boring. After reading it, it is true, but this is just a prelude. How can every chapter of a book be interesting? I am just a failed author, and my ability is not as strong as that of the great gods. V transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 394. Little Fairy, please help me. Just when Susiener had been lazy for less than 2 or 3 days and Zhangyu was thinking of a solution, Yayuking came to cause trouble again. What's the matter? Susiener asked angrily. In the past 2 days, Chen Rui and Zhao Jingdu were blacklisted, so the whole world was clean. After just a few days of rest, my aunt came to trouble again. It's not because you dropped the blueprint in 7-4, Yayuking said angrily when he heard Susiener's tone. As Elaine has been in public beta for almost a week, and the start of a game is when it is most popular. Not to mention that there was Susiener's promotion before. Coupled with the shipgirl setting, it is very novel for everyone. As soon as they entered the pit, everyone's livers woke up. The prosperous scene of Taibo made Yayuking and the others overjoyed. But soon the trouble came. Every game has the liver emperor, and many people don't fish for the 3-4 and 6-4 gold skins. They just open up the wasteland to 7-4 and start fishing for the Jug Destroyer. For fans of Jug's brainless fans, Akagakaga and Yutaki will all die. If Jug is not fished out, this game will be in vain. After all, the reason why they know and play this game is that both Susiener and Sujug promoted this game on Weibo. Looking at the book drawn by teacher Miyobi, Jug is still a lowly shaped figure. Isn't this true? Tempt them. The most important thing is that except for the first chapter of teacher Miyobi's book, they have no idea what Juji looks like in the form of a Lolita. And the first chapter of teacher Miyobi's book is still in black and white, which simply seduces their souls. So at the beginning of the open beta, after getting familiar with the game on the first day, and then all the way to 7-4, it only took 2 days for people on the first level. The next 4 days were all about getting Jug's blueprints. However, 4 days passed. There are only a few people who have obtained the drawings of the Jug Destroyer. Of course, because one attack consumes too much fuel. However, they didn't make a fuss about the oil. After all, they had never played other shipgirl games in another world, so naturally they didn't know that resources could be stored in the hundreds of thousands. But forget it, the drop rate of the 9-song destroyers blueprints was a scam, and everyone was stunned when they could actually get the same blueprints. There are a total of 15 drawings of the Jug Destroyer, and each one is different. In other words, if you get 2 identical drawings, they are no different from one. Because there are 14 other different drawings that you haven't obtained, then it's impossible for you to build the Jug Destroyer. Everyone was stunned when they learned about this situation. This is too ridiculous. In an instant, both Taiba and Weibo exploded. This is to make them fish until they last forever. That's all, they have livers. However, the fuel limit is very large. In addition, everyone rushes to 7-4 in the early stage. The strength of the shipgirl gradually increases, but each attack consumes too much fuel, and you can only fish a few handfuls in a day. And if the ship is accidentally broken and people are killed, you have to start over. The most important thing is that there is a mood system, and only the 7-4 boss drops blueprints, which is really awesome. The official also said that this is a casual game, it is simply the biggest scam in history. Of course, many people on Taiba also said that if you take your time, Jug will be able to fish it out sooner or later. You are just too impatient. If you were as calm as us, you wouldn't be so angry. Of course, as soon as these remarks came out, they were criticized as being mentally retarded. The official soon became aware of this phenomenon. As Elaine's official blog directly stated that this was the setting of teacher Miyobi and that he did not care about their affairs. As soon as he said this, fans immediately complained. Nonsense! How could teacher Miyobi trap us? That's right. Although teacher Miyobi is your boss, the game is made by you, and teacher Miyobi is just an investment. Don't let teacher Miyobi take the blame for everything. Angrily hummed the wonderful pen to produce the blueprint. Now the officials had no choice. No one believed the truth, so they had no choice but to call Susiener. When Susiener learned about this situation, she couldn't help laughing and said, "Isn't it? Is it such a big fuss?" Susiener's original idea was just to let everyone get 15 blueprints. Regardless of whether they were repeated or not, as long as there were 15 blueprints, the Jug destroyer could be built. But when I think about it, if it were Huang and Seal, wouldn't it be possible to fish out a Jug destroyer after fishing 15 times? So Susiener came up with this vicious method. Even if you, Yu Huangdan, fish out the duplicate drawings, it will be of no use. As a result, although the Seals and European emperors were contained, the Africans were the biggest victims. There are at least 1 or 2 different Seal European kings. When the Africans finally get one, the results are duplicates. Although they are European to a certain extent, they don't want this kind of European king. You're still gloating about others' misfortune, hurry up and find a solution for me. Yayuking thought that the public relations department was now as anxious as an ant on a hot pot, so she urged, in her opinion, although Susiener was lazy, but at the critical moment it's possible to figure it out. Let's do this, let's hold an event. It's been a week since the server opened, and you haven't held any game events yet, right? Susiener smiled with her eyes narrowed. Obviously this made her happy. But the matter still needs to be resolved, otherwise the game as a lane may lose players. What activity? Do you want to up Juji? What the hell, if it can be built, what's the point of asking everyone to get the 7-4 blueprint? Susiener made no secret of her disdain for Yayuking's IQ. Then Susiener and Yayuking had a discussion. Of course they said it was a discussion, but in fact it was Susiener who was talking and Yayuking was listening. An hour later, the official blog of Azalane posted a new Weibo. The Weibo post roughly means that they are sorry for this blueprint incident. They didn't expect that everyone would react so strongly. In order to compensate everyone, the official will compensate the commander who fished for blueprints in 7-4 with 1.5 times the resources. From the opening of the server to now, if 1,500 oil is consumed in the 7-4 map, then 1,500 * 1.5 oil will be resent by email. When seeing this, many liver emperors smiled with relief. Of course, if it was just like this, they would not give up. And those who didn't fish would not give up either. After all, if there is compensation for making a fuss, then everyone will stop playing games in the future and make trouble every day. And the next announcement shocked them. Because the first event since the opening of the server has begun. The 9 songs competition event is the first event since the opening of Azalane. Starting from a week later, as long as the top 10 people get 15 different blueprints, they will build the 9 songs destroyer. You will receive a model of the Jug destroyer, numbered from 001 to 010. In addition, there is a photo of Susiener and Sujug and a handwritten signature. This reward will be out of print in the future. The latter reward was forced by Amy Yip. Susiener originally resisted, but Amy Yip said that this was something she had done, so of course she had to end it, so Susiener agreed speechlessly. When seeing this reward, not only the players went crazy, but even those who didn't play Azalane went crazy. Ovo. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Sheng Wu. Chapter 395. Since Sujug appeared, many people have been asking Billy to make a figurine. The begging attitude almost moved Billy. However, even if they were moved, the figurine would not exist without Susiener's permission. Making Sujug into a figurine and letting those otakus lick it? Susiener felt a chill. But now, after going through so much, Susiener said that she was mature. Anyway, Sujug was Sujug and she was her, not from the same world. In addition, the one in Azalane was the lowly version of Sujug, and it was a different form of Sujug, so Susiener didn't care even more. However, as soon as the official blog of Azalane released the news, everyone went crazy. What the hell? A figure? Jug's figure? What's the difference between that and Myobi teacher's figure? The difference is huge. Myobi teacher is 1.58 meters tall, Sujug is 1.68 meters tall. The height difference is so big. If I remember correctly, this should be the first time Sujug has a figure? And it's in lowly form, and there are only 10 of them. It's out of print. I heard that Jug's destroyer is 1.48 meters tall. 66,666, can I summon a dragon if I collect 3 different heights of Myobi teacher, a young girl, a lowly, and a young girl? It can be said that when the official blog was released, even Yayuking didn't expect it to be so sensational. And a large number of players were urging them to release the lowly and girl figures together. This made the official blog roll their eyes and say to themselves, and Myobi teacher. The influx of new players made Yayuking and others smile, because they really didn't expect that this event would be so sensational. However, those old players were like dogs, and they were in a bad mood. Many people wanted the official blog of Azalane to start the event directly, but these words were quickly sprayed down. You should know that this event will start in a week, just to help those lazy or new players to level up quickly, so that everyone can catch up at the same starting line. Many people who don't play games but are fans of Susiener directly look for someone to play for them 24 hours a day, and even claim that they must definitely get the figurine. As soon as this event was launched, almost everyone on the internet was discussing this matter. Other mobile games instantly lost the intake of new players, which made people stare blankly. I want a figurine too. Wang Zimen rushed directly to Susiener's room and stared at her. Don't you have a life-size figurine during the Chinese New Year on Bilibili? Go and take a picture yourself when the time comes. Susiener was frightened by Wang Zimen and her hands trembled. She was touched by the boss in the game and went back to the city directly. She couldn't help but said unhappily. Collect it? Collect it, Wang Zimen said. I will definitely take a picture of the life-size figurine, but I also want this one. Then go play games and catch up, Susiener snorted. I want a figurine, too. Yes. Susiener stopped abruptly, because the voice was different. When she turned around, she saw Lin Jingshu just looking at her quietly, which made her scalp numb. She smiled and said, Jingshu must have one. I'll ask someone to make it when the time comes. Others are 01-010, and you are 000. Lin Jingshu looked like she knew what was good for her. Then she couldn't help but stare at Susiener's lips, and then moved away in panic. Seeing that Susiener didn't react, she couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Wang Zimen was confused, and then suddenly reacted and said shyly, how about this? I'll give you a kiss too, and you give me a figurine too. I can do that too. Shianayui Sakura, who appeared at the door at some point, also looked at Susiener with a blushing face. Shianayui Sakura really wanted one. Although the figurine was between a little girl and a Lolita, it was derived from Susiener after all, so Shianayui Sakura naturally wanted one. Susiener was confused. Why did everyone want one? They all said they could be manipulated by her. What's wrong with this society? Susiener was delighted. Just as she was about to speak, the phone rang. All of a sudden, Susiener breathed a sigh of relief and picked up the phone very swiftly. Hello, who is this? It's me, Zhang Yu. Susiener searched her memory and finally remembered, Teacher Zhang, what do you want to talk to me about? Zhang Yu smiled and said, I'm calling to inform you that the Art Association agrees with your idea. When your P station is established, anyone from the Art Association will enter your website and help you promote it. Susiener's eyes lit up, okay. Then help me get a pass. Ahem, this is not a pass. And you have to come to the art association in person and take a photo. You are forcing me to quit the association. Let me go out, isn't this asking me to die? Last time, I finally managed to go out, but the video of Pure Land of Bliss was all over the internet. Now, not only Bilibili but Weibo and other video websites have been flooded with videos of Pure Land of Bliss. Forget about going out. Susiana refused to go out, even if she could get there in a short time by taxi. Fortunately, Zhang Yu was mentally prepared and said bluntly, "Okay, I'll send you the membership certificate in 2 days." Damn. You just talked nonsense to me. It's like this, I was going to meet at the art association. But since you don't go out, I'll tell you on the phone. Zhang Yu paused, let Susiana prepare herself mentally, and then said, "The country hopes that the art association can direct cartoons with Chinese culture and morality, but the people in the art association can't do anything. We want to invite you to direct domestic cartoons and broadcast them on TV or the internet nationwide." Susiana was stunned. "What's wrong?" Lin Jingshu came to Susiana's side, and asked curiously by Susiana's appearance. Susiana shook her head, and then said to the phone, "I'm not interested. I've been very busy recently. I have to draw comics and deal with P-Station affairs. How can I direct cartoons again?" It's true that she has a lot of classic domestic cartoons in her mind, but she is lazy. This is a terminal disease and cannot be cured. Hearing this, Zhang Yu hurriedly said, "Miobi, don't rush to refuse. Directing cartoons, in fact, many things don't require you to intervene. You are the animation director and grasp the general direction. We will have a team to assist you in making cartoons. Everyone is the top talent in the country. After all, this is for the country and for the education of children born in the tens. If possible, I beg you to accept it." "I don't have time," Susiana said unhappily. It hasn't been long since they met, and she has been given such a heavy burden. Aren't you afraid that she will be crushed to death? And if it's not produced well, she will have to take the blame, so she won't do it. Now we live a carefree life every day, so why suffer? Susiana hung up the phone soon after. They didn't agree, leaving Zhang Yu in despair. At this time, the doorbell rang downstairs. Shianui Sakura saw this and went downstairs to take a look, and then opened the door directly. Everyone was stunned when they looked down the door. It was Dean Li. Then everyone looked at Susiana. After all, Susiana hadn't been to class for a long time. Was she here to blame? Ovo. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Sheng Wu. Chapter 396. Dean Li came and brought his granddaughter to visit. "Sit down." When Susiana and the others came down, Dean Li pointed to the sofa and smiled. This dormitory looked like her home. But everyone still sat on the sofa obediently, waiting for the other party to speak. After all, he is the dean of the Department of Music and holds great power. Especially an old lady. "Dean Li, you said you would come, why did you bring the child with you?" Susiana snorted. This made everyone hold back their laughter, and Dean Li looked at Susiana speechlessly. The 3-year-old girl in his arms heard this and cried, looking at Susiana, wanting to hug her. "It seems that my granddaughter likes you very much," Dean Li said with surprise. "Her granddaughter likes to stick with her and her daughter-in-law. Others will cry and make a fuss as long as they hug her, which is very embarrassing when relatives come to visit." Susiana pouted her lips. "This gesture is definitely to like me, not to get rid of me." "Dean, what's the matter with you coming here?" Susiana got straight to the point. Did she want to play games? There was no time to waste on small talk. Others also looked at Dean Li curiously, wondering why he came. Hearing this, Dean Li knew that Susiana didn't welcome him. But she also understood that it was just like students being visited at home. They were naturally afraid of teachers or deans. Susiener should be in this state, right? Thinking about it, Dean Lee smiled and said, "That's right. You should also know that the music industry has been relatively sluggish in recent years, and new songs are not very good. Instead, those classic old songs are dug out by fans and listened to repeatedly. This phenomenon obviously made people in the music industry panic, which meant that their lyrics and arrangements were all going downhill. The reason why the music school cares about this matter is entirely because when the music industry is going downhill, the students of their school basically become ordinary members of the music industry. Now it is difficult to become famous in the music industry. Even some stars are not as famous as those girls who cover songs in the live broadcast industry. Some extremely famous female anchors are worth almost 100 million yuan, which is embarrassing. If this phenomenon continues for a long time, fewer and fewer people will apply for music colleges in the future. Although it seems that the music industry is booming now, we must always be wary of this phenomenon. So the major music colleges plan to unite and hold a competition called Heavenly Sound. They have even contacted CCTV, and CCTV attaches great importance to the proposals of the major music colleges. Because this is the suggestion of famous music colleges in major provinces, it can be said that all the top 10 music colleges in the country are involved. Most of these are public colleges, that is, these are national schools. These school leaders are basically high-ranking government officials, and CCTV naturally attaches great importance to them. After paying attention, the proposals of major colleges were quickly approved. In the name of CCTV and major music colleges, a phenomenal music competition was created to allow people who like music across the country to participate. As a music competition, judges are naturally indispensable. There are many music departments in society now, but most of them cannot escape a few major departments. Chinese, Cantonese, English, Japanese. In addition to languages, there are also some circles. For example, the ancient style circle, their lyrics are usually characterized by gorgeous words and strong ancient meaning. For example, the act circle, it can be said that the songs in the act circle are now a large category, and they are no less influential than other categories. Many songs are the op or ed of some animations, which are extremely moving and have extraordinary meanings. And Dean Lee came here today to invite Susiener to be a judge of the Tianlei Zion competition. That's right, it's a judge. With Susiener's popularity, if she participates in the competition, it is estimated that she will directly establish the championship, and others can only compete for the runner-up. And this qualification as a judge was obtained by Dean Lee with great effort. Because everyone thinks that although Susiener is very popular, she is too young. Now she is a freshman, only 17 years old. Although each of her songs is of high quality, and one of them is even a golden song. But insufficient qualifications are not enough to be a judge. In China, qualifications are a very important scoring item. For example, Susiener promoted her sketches and drawings, and benefited the whole world with them. If she promoted them properly, Susiener would increase her international status and be praised by the world. In this case, Susiener is fully qualified to be the president of the Huaxia Art Association, or at least the vice president. But Zhang Yu only made Susiener a member, not even a director. This is a question of qualifications. In the final analysis, Susiener is too young to convince the public. In addition, everyone knows each other, and they are too lazy to hold an important position. But Dean Lee still convinced those people, especially some other judges, who also wanted to meet Susiener. After all, although Susiener is not in the entertainment industry, there are always legends about Susiener in the entertainment industry. She is the kind of person you can't meet even if you want to. And with the Pure Land of Bliss incident, Susiener's popularity has exploded again. Except for some old stubborn people, no one else has any objection to Susiener being a judge. Let me be a judge, Susiener was shocked. Not only her, but everyone else was shocked. Lin Jingshu's eyes sparkled, and she was proud of it. No, Susiana reacted and refused directly. What a joke. Lin Jingshu opened her mouth when she saw this, but she thought that this was Susiana's private matter. She had been pestering him when he had songs before. In fact, it was too much, and the matter of being a judge was more important, so she should not affect Susiana. Are you sure? Dean Li showed a dangerous smile. If you don't go, please make up the credits you missed in the past few months. Susiana was stunned. She had always wondered why the school didn't come to him. Dean Li's son Huang Guang had been urging her to go to class before. But he stopped urging her for a while, and she thought he was annoyed. The result turned out to be like this. Actually, it's not that I don't want to be a judge, but because I have other important things, Susiana said with a serious expression. I will be directing an animation for the people of the Art Association recently. You will know this situation if you go to understand it. As an animation director, I have to control the team. How can I have time? Susiana wanted to drop out of school because she couldn't stop yelling. But after thinking about it, she decided to forget it. She lived very comfortably here, and if she dropped out, she would have to move and get familiar with the new environment. The most important thing is that fans can't come to the music school. If she lives outside, once the address is exposed, she will probably be harassed endlessly. And even if she graduates in the future, she wants to live here and not leave. Where else can be as comfortable as this place? And the environment is good. So Susiana was scared. Ovo. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 397. Susiana felt that it would be better to direct an animation than to be a judge of a music competition. After all, she liked animation more, and being a judge was simply a headache. And she instantly remembered the Han elder sister and the broken brother who were ghosted in her previous life. What if she was ghosted by people from Bilibili? Taiwan Novel Network Rightward arrow. Ghosting is indeed a popular thing, but when it happens to oneself, forget it. The most important thing is that if she is a judge, she will definitely show her face, and she won't do it. As a lady, she should stay at home and never go out. As for directing an animation, it was Zhang Yu who begged her anyway. At that time, let the animation team rent a house next to it and make animations next to it. I believe that the other party will not refuse such a small condition. At that time, she only needs to walk a few steps. Wouldn't it be wonderful? Dean Li looked at Susiana with suspicion. She knew Susiana very well. This was a problem girl who had no major shortcomings, but a collection of small shortcomings. If she believed Susiana's words, it would be a joke. Are you sure? Dean Li looked at Susiana and said with ill intention, I am also familiar with the people in the art association. I will call and ask. Susiana's heart tightened. She had just rejected Zhang Yu's invitation. If Dean Li called now, wouldn't it be exposed? But then she thought, if Dean Li asked at that time, an old man like Zhang Yu who had lived for so long would definitely think about it. Maybe he would think of something along the lines of Dean Li's words and then cover up her lie. Thinking of this, Susiana calmed down again and said confidently, you can call and ask now. This time, it was Dean Li's turn to be indecisive. Of course she would not call. She just tricked Susiana just now, but seeing the other party's confidence, she knew that the other party should not lie to her. Even if I direct an animation, it won't be a big problem as long as the time is staggered. Dean Li was obviously unwilling to accept this. She let Susiana miss so many classes, and she didn't come to find Susiana, just to find something to hold against her so that she would give in. As a result, the people from the Art Association intervened. Isn't this just looking for trouble? All of a sudden, Dean Li was dissatisfied with the people from the Art Association. Susiener was from the Conservatory of Music after all, not the Academy of Fine Arts. Why did they come to Susiener when they were full? This, can't be staggered. Susiener naturally couldn't let Dean Lee succeed. She would rather direct an animation than be a judge. Dean Lee glared, "You are a music student, how can you not plan for your future development in music?" After saying this, Susiener said embarrassedly, "In fact, I applied for the Conservatory of Music just to accompany Jingshu, which is half a companion." Dean Lee was directly desperate when he learned about this situation. And Lin Jingshu next to him didn't know what she was thinking, her face was rosy. Xianyue looked at Lin Jingshu with envy. She knew that Lin Jingshu and Susiener were in love because they were neighbors in high school, and Lin Jingshu often helped Susiener. Lin Jingshu was the one who won at the starting line, which made Xianyue very desperate. She had already lost before she started to fight. Of course, according to Xianyue's personality, it is estimated that she can't fight. Dean Lee left, holding her granddaughter and sighed, her eyes were confused, she didn't know how to convince Susiener. Seeing this, Lin Jingshu looked at Susiener and wanted to say something, but gave up. For this kind of thing, it's better for Susiener to make her own decision. An hour later, Zhang Yu called and said in a faint tone, "Miao Bai, why didn't I know that you had agreed to my request?" Dean Lee called Zhang Yu not to verify, but to scold him. Zhang Yu was confused when he received the call from Dean Li. Although one of them was the Dean of the Conservatory of Music and the other was the Vice President of the Fine Arts Association, they were both in the art industry and naturally knew each other. Although they were not familiar with each other, they were more familiar than nodding acquaintances. When Zhang Yu received the call from Dean Li, he was confused. It was almost time to figure out the situation. What could he say? As an old and experienced person, he could only be vague and ignore it. So when Dean Li hung up the phone in frustration, Zhang Yu hurriedly called Susiener. He naturally came with hope. And what could Susiener say? She rolled her eyes and said, "From now on, I agree to you. But I have conditions." Zhang Yu didn't expect that Susiener would agree before he said anything. He couldn't help but said happily, "You say. As long as it's reasonable, we can agree to it. Directing an animation, yes. But I won't leave the Conservatory of Music, and your team will rent a house in the Conservatory of Music." Hearing this condition, Zhang Yu was confused. This condition is not difficult to say, but it is difficult, very difficult, as difficult as climbing to the sky. You know, after that incident at the Conservatory of Music, no matter reporters or non-school personnel, they were not allowed to enter the school, which made the school rules of the Conservatory of Music very strict. But for his own sake, the Conservatory of Music should not make it difficult. After all, it was a document order issued by the central government. But just now, Dean Lee called to complain about him, and now he wants to go to the Conservatory of Music to make cartoons. Isn't this rubbing salt into the wound? Can you change the conditions? Zhang Yu said cautiously. What kind of conditions are these? He thought Susiener would propose something, but it turned out to be this. The result really embarrassed him, making Zhang Yu laugh and cry. "You know I don't usually go out." Susiener usually lies in the backyard of the villa when she goes out, lazily. It can be said that the colorful world outside is like a floating cloud to her. Well, okay, Zhang Yu knew that he had to get the consent of the Conservatory of Music this time. If not, he would directly pressure the central government. He didn't believe that the Conservatory of Music would not yield. Thinking about it, he continued, "Are there any other conditions?" "No," Susiener said. "By the way, what type of cartoons are you going to make? It seems that you didn't listen to anything before?" Thinking about it, Zhang Yu said quickly, "The theme is an educational animation that conforms to Chinese culture and morality. Of course, the animation is aimed at the people born after 2010. Children aged about 6 to 12 mm. Susienner touched her chin and thought for a while, and suddenly her eyes lit up. How about go? Go, Zhang Yu waited for Susienner's answer. After hearing this, his eyes lit up and he nodded quickly. Okay, have you thought of the plot? I have thought of it. Susienner suddenly hesitated. There are people from the He tribe in it, and it's still in ancient times. Zhang Yu's heart sank when he heard this. In modern society, the He tribe is a sensitive topic. After all, the events of decades ago are still fresh in our minds. Thinking about it, Zhang Yu gritted his teeth and said, is there a general plot? The protagonist defeats a He tribe member with Go, and the He tribe member turns over a new leaf. Of course, there are also small side stories during this period. Zhang Yu thought about it. There was nothing too extreme in the plot that Susienner said, so he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief and said, it should be able to pass the review. So, Miobi, have you thought of a name for the animation? Let's call it, Go Boy. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 398. Go Boy is a legendary animated film. The story is set in the late Ming Dynasty and tells the growth process of Zhang Luer, who is quite talented in Go. As for why he didn't direct Soul of Go? Of course, if he took out Soul of Go, he would have to make some changes. But Go Boy doesn't need it. The most important thing is that Zhang Yu said that the main audience of the cartoon is people aged 6-12. Then Go Boy is obviously more suitable. After all, it is for children to watch. Of course, the reason why Go Boy is so popular is that even adults can watch it. This is the charm of quality animation. Animation is not exclusive to children. And Susienner only plans to produce the first season. When she finished watching the first season, she was still unsatisfied, but when the second season came out, she couldn't watch it anymore, so she didn't remember the plot of the second season at all. The first season is only 26 episodes. As long as there are many people, it is still very fast to produce. It can be produced during the Chinese New Year. This made Zhang Yu very excited. Because during the Chinese New Year, most of the working people go home for the New Year, and everyone is relaxed at home. If Go Boy is broadcast at this time, the most people will watch it. By the way, my P station will be opened in the next 2 days. Don't forget to promote it for me. Okay. Zhang Yu naturally remembered this very clearly. After the two hung up the phone, Susienner called Lu Ruyan to tell her about it. When Lu Ruyan learned about it, she was incredibly excited and said, wow, really? Hey, you just wanted to burst out, right? Susienner smiled and said, of course it's true. This is the art association that I finally persuaded. You have to build up the P station for me. No problem. Lu Ruyan knew that she had finally found a direction for her career, and she was very excited. But she thought of something and asked, by the way, little boss, have you finished the comics of the passerby heroine? Of course, I drew 10 chapters in one go for the P station. It's so exhausting, Susienner said with a weak face. Lu Ruyan rolled her eyes. I'm afraid that the Miobi studio rushed to draw it overnight. Of course, even if they work overnight, the quality of the comics is guaranteed. Lu Ruyan still trusts Susienner very much. After notifying Lu Ruyan, Susienner posted on Weibo to inform her of the event. 3 days later, the new website Pixif will be officially opened. This is a website for painters all over the world. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced artist, you can share your works on your own page. At that time, all the Chinese Art Association and comic masters will register as members and publish their works on P Station. And my new comic How to Cultivate a Strange Girlfriend will also be officially serialized on P Station. The website is newly opened, and users who register as members within 24 hours will receive an out-of-print badge. This is a very serious Weibo notification, and Susiener caused a sensation as soon as she posted on Weibo. Because the news was too sudden, making everyone look confused. Miobi teacher is leaving Tencent Comics to build his own comics website. Great, I've been fed up with Tencent Comics for a long time. Miobi teacher should kill Tencent Comics. Miobi is awesome. Sankai Comics. New CAO Miobi comes out with Jug. Wow. Can you guys pay attention to the main point? All the people from the Huaxia Art Association have joined the website? Is this a joke? Many people only realized it after they posted their comments, and were stunned. Even if people who don't know what an art association is, after seeing the prefix Huaxia, they know that it should be a national association, and the Huaxia Art Association actually agreed to publish their own works on a new website. It's incredible to think about it. And since the people from the Huaxia Art Association have joined, what model is this website? Many people thought it was a comics website, but now they have denied it. But at the same time of denying it, they saw that Miobi teacher's new comics were about to be published on P Station, and they were wavering again. In any case, Susiener's Weibo really surprised many people. Especially many art students, they were excited when they saw this notice. Because now the Huaxia Art Network there are too few websites. Many art students hope that their works can be known by many people. It is a pity that the users of several art websites in China are extremely rare. Because art itself should be appreciated by the public, so this is a pity for many people. Now Susiener has come out to build a website, and it has made such a big fuss, and has swept the art associations. They know that this may be the largest painter website in the country in the future. Art students are looking forward to what the model of this P Station is. But Susiener's fans don't care about these. Many people are looking forward to how to raise a passerby girlfriend. You should know that the original painting that Susiener uploaded on Weibo has spread all over the internet, and many people can't stop licking the screen of the girl in the painting named Qiu Xiu. Originally thought it was the heroine of the original book, but it turned out not to be. Then they thought it was the heroine of Future Daughter, but there is no one named Qiu Xiu in the novel Future Daughter. So obviously, it's not. Then it is obvious that Qiu Xiu is the heroine of Passerby Girlfriend. This made fans shout that it was a pit, but fortunately Qiu Xiu is finally going to meet everyone. Of course, many people also said under Susiener's Weibo that the Pure Land of Bliss has been exposed, so the New Year's festival must not be released. When will teacher Miobi prepare a new song and dance? When this comment came out, Susiener rolled her eyes and wanted to make fun of it. But after thinking about it, she decided not to. On the first day, both the official Weibo of B Station and Sujug's Weibo posted a Weibo. As long as users register as members of P Station within 24 hours after the establishment of P Station, all users can receive a 1-month free premium membership, and can also purchase a premium membership at half price. Not only Weibo, but even B Station also put up banners to promote P Station. As the center of AC, B Station attracted most of the attention at once. Many people were secretly surprised that this kind of publicity was too strong. Susiener's Weibo made many people know about the new side pics of. Whether they are in the AC circle or not, they have promoted P Station to a certain extent. And the publicity of B Station caught all the people in the AC circle. The next day, Tencent Animation put up a banner on its website, saying that as long as you register as a member on P Station, the next recharge will be half price. Many people were shocked by the strength of this promotion. This is no longer a promotion. It is a waste of money. Fans highly agree with Susiener's wasteful behavior, saying that the P Station server had better not crash, and they will definitely flock to P Station at that time. Happy New Year, I wish you all a Happy New Year Ovo. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao Bai Shen Wu. Chapter 399. When it was evening, the Huaxia Art Association finally took action. In addition to posting the news of joining Peace Station on the official website, it even caused discussions in society, and real newspapers reported the news. Some heavyweight newspapers in China reported the news one after another. The Weibo of major newspapers also announced the news of the Huaxia Art Association. Many middle-aged and elderly people who don't go online much were shocked. They were secretly surprised that this Peace Station was a website that could catch all the people from the Huaxia Art Association. When all members of the Huaxia Art Association received the notice, many people who were behind the news were still confused. It turned out to be an announcement from the headquarters. Many people directly doubted their lives. You know, people in the art association communicate in real life. Although there are conversations online, they exchange theoretical knowledge. Some practices are shown at the exhibition. Now the headquarters asked all of them to upload all their works to a website called Peace Station. Isn't this funny? But it is obvious that this is a very serious incident. The caution of the headquarters made the branches in major provincial capitals serious. Of course, only the presidents of the branches know why the headquarters is so cautious. After all, this is related to the number of art students in the future. After learning about sketches and figure sketches, these presidents were all excited. What they are going to do is to benefit the world. So whether it is online or in real life, everyone is talking about this matter, and Susienner's fans are all proud of it. After all, this is the website that their idol is going to create. It is natural for them to feel proud that it can cause such a sensation. Chen Rui and Zhao Jing looked at the situation and were also secretly shocked. If Susienner established a website similar to B Station or a comic website, the two would probably be panicked. Fortunately, Susienner had already told them that the business model of Peace Station in the future would be completely different from the two websites, and there would be opportunities for cooperation. So they were completely relieved. Just as the third day was about to come, Susienner received a call from Dean Li. She thought that the other party was unwilling to give up, but Susienner couldn't hang up the other party's phone casually, because the other party was the Dean of the Department of Music of the Conservatory of Music. Dean Li, I won't agree to your request. Just give up on this idea. Before Dean Li opened her mouth, she heard Susienner's voice, which made her feel helpless. She really didn't give up, and this call was a last-ditch effort. Don't worry, I'm not here to convince you this time. I'm here to inform you of something. You won't fire me, will you? Susienner thought of something and almost said Gan. How is that possible? Dean Li rolled her eyes rarely. She found that her rigorous work attitude was completely useless against Susienner. You have more than 300 million fans on Weibo. If I fire you, the principal will definitely fight me to death. It can be said that even if Susienner doesn't attend classes, the reputation of their Huaxia Conservatory of Music will be greatly improved. As long as Susienner is mentioned, the Huaxia Conservatory of Music will be thought of. After all, Susienner is now a student of this university, and naturally she will be familiar to all the people in China. This kind of subtle influence is what the principal likes to see. Even if Susienner doesn't attend a class for 4 years, she can graduate normally and receive dazzling titles from schools one by one. What's that? Susienner breathed a sigh of relief. She was really afraid of being fired. Where would she find such a comfortable place to live? Your best friend is going to participate in the competition. Jingshu. Yes, didn't I say it a few days ago that several major colleges and universities jointly organized the Sound of Heaven with CCTV, so she came to me and wanted to sign up for it. Dean Li smiled and said, outstanding students of Lin Jingshu's music school can naturally sign up for the competition. Shit, Susienner said. Wait a minute. As she said that, she picked up her phone and rushed to Lin Jingshu's room, scaring Lin Jingshu. Susienner walked closer and saw that Lin Jingshu was actually watching her video of Dancing to the Pure Land of Bliss, and she was speechless. "Why don't you knock on the door?" Lin Jingshu said angrily. Seeing that she was exposed, she simply turned off the video. "You didn't knock when you entered my room." Susiana rolled her eyes, and then, without waiting for Lin Jingshu to speak, she said anxiously, "Are you going to participate in that Tianlai singing competition?" "How do you know?" Lin Jingshu asked in surprise. She hadn't told her about this yet. Damn. Susiana knew that she was tricked by Dean Li. If it didn't work openly, then she would do it secretly. It was too insidious. She said to the phone, "I'll think about it for 2 days." Although Susiana hung up the phone, Dean Li smiled. This matter was almost certain, and it should be done. Susiana then looked at Lin Jingshu and said, "Are you ready to sing any songs?" "No, I'll just go on stage and cover old songs." Lin Jingshu was touched to see that Susiana was so concerned about her affairs. After all, she knew her very well. She was the most lazy one. Now she became active because of her affairs, which made her feel sweet. Why cover an old song? It has to be original. Crush all the way. Susiana was anxious. This was Lin Jingshu's first time on stage, and as a good friend, she had to help her. Ever since that kiss, she has regarded Lin Jingshu as her wife. Isn't it normal for a husband to care about his wife when she participates in the competition? Lin Jingshu, on the other hand, said very calmly, "Student Su, don't worry. I am only a freshman now, and I am participating in Tianlai just to gain more experience in the competition. After all, it is a competition organized by major universities and CCTV. It is very large and is a national level event. In this kind of competition, I might be nervous when I go on stage. I just want to overcome the psychological pressure when I go on stage for the first time." Susiana looked at Lin Jingshu speechlessly and said, "Why are you so salty?" Lin Jingshu's expression looked like, "You have the nerve to talk about me. Let's do it this way, I'll take care of the songs you play after the competition." Susiana decided. This time Lin Jingshu participated in Tianlai, and she was going to take over the songs. No matter what, she had to let Lin Jingshu win the championship. The winner of the first Tianlai music competition, this title will definitely shine when it is released in the future. Susiana squinted her eyes, always feeling that she would have a diva wife in the future. Thinking of this, she felt happy. However, Lin Jingshu was shocked. "Don't." As a result, before she finished speaking, Susiana glared and said, "No, no. I decided to copy, well, write 100 poems first, in Chinese, Cantonese, Japanese and English, and then you practice hard, etc. If the competition party has any requirements for songs, just pick one and sing it. When you debut, these songs will be used for the album." Lin Jingshu had sacrificed so much for her and had taken care of her for so long without any complaints. Susiana felt that if she left Lin Jingshu in this life, she would be useless. She must be taken home as a wife. Lin Jingshu was stunned. Vio.